Man, as good as I can be in the quarantine, or whatever this is supposed to be. It don't
Man,
look like quarantine when I'm out in the street, but that's all right, I guess.
speaking of which, let's jump on that. Folks trying to go back to work and they protesting.
How you how
They
you feel about
protesting to
that,
go back.
cuz?
About them protesting about trying to go back to work.
Yeah.
So
So I got mixed feelings. I understand that, you're not getting the money that you've been promised to get by the government. Small businesses, they have all these stipulations, they can't get the money. People have been out of work for what it's been what a month almost, right?
Yeah.
it's I want to say
Um,
13th.
yeah. So that's a struggle. I understand that. However, the bigger picture is we're trying to flatten the curve. So I think you do need to stay in for a little bit more, just kind of so they figure this thing out. Because apparently, when I'm watching TV, there's nothing they figured out just yet. So
No, you're right about that. There's been nothing that's been concrete or solid that's been said about how to combat this at all besides, flattening the curve, just try to slow it down.
right, because it's not completely a respiratory, um, virus. Because when I look at the COVID is also, um, they cause blood clots. So a lot of these things that people are having are, could be caused by some blood clots, not just in the lungs, but in other places. But I think that's just, and I learned that today at the
Hmm.
hospital.
Yeah, and I seen something where s- somebody gave a statement on Trump's team's behalf talking about the classification of COVID deaths. They were saying that no matter pretty much how you die at this point, if you do have COVID, if you test positive for that, you will be listed as a COVID death.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you see the Daily Egyptian, where I think the Daily Egyptian's uh news reporting company out of Carbondale, SIU Carbondale, and there was a lady protesting here in Springfield. She gave her full name, and she said she worked at
Uh-oh.
SIU School of Medicine, and she said they was fudging the numbers.
The number's been fudged. China started that.
So,
She
so when we're
number
talking
one,
about
she's
fudging the
even
numbers, what are we saying?
so
Yeah.
she's saying she was out there protesting, saying that we should have we should let these people go back to work because the numbers, they're fudging the numbers, saying that there's more deaths than there really are, or more cases than there really are.
So is there more
And
control than that?
so she's either absolutely crazy or she's telling the truth.
So she's
All I
whistleblowing.
know is on Monday she probably didn't have a job.
Oh
That's
no,
all
she
I know.
Probably
no.
not. Now, would I
Listen,
say would I say that's far from the truth? Absolutely not. I mean, I'm not surprised about anything these days.
right.
Not at
So
all.
At this point, anything's possible. But like, because at first I got kind of hot. I was like, "What? You can't say that." And then I was like, "Well, maybe she can say it.
Mm,
Maybe she
I,
ain't lying."
I've been saying it.
um,
Like I said, I have a coworker whose son lives in Korea, and what we started dealing with in mid to late March, no, early mid March, they've been dealing with since December and November. So she's been seeing this, and he's been telling her, these numbers are higher than they're giving you, which makes sense anyway.
mhm,
Gonna tell us all the whole truth.
mm.
It's not beneficial.
I don't know, but uh, she ain't got no job. She ain't had no job the next day.
Well,
I
she
know
couldn't go to
that.
work anyway, right?
Mm.
So
So
she got to work anyway.
it's like this. It's like, where do you stand, or where do you fall in line at? It's
Mm.
the original amount of deaths that they had projected. We haven't reached that. So this is what people are basing. Okay, we should be able to reopen. That's what their thought process is, right? So if you prematurely go back out and we haven't had all the a lot of testing, any type of vaccination or type of anything to combat this besides social distancing, you're going to get that number then that was originally shot. Because if you didn't get it the first time, for a fact people will get reinfected, or they would restoke the infections of people being infected.
I think it's gonna be. I don't know, man. I think it might be if they're talking about doing it. It might be too early.
Exactly.
do
So just that's what I was getting at. So what did they say? What 200,000 deaths that they projected to be originally the first time? So we're at about 30 or 40 now. 1,000. So what if we got a 200,000 right now? Would you go back to work? I don't think those people would be saying the same thing.
No, I think they're crazy. But I understand. Again, I understand it.
I
But
understand
at
the economic point of it, sure.
right. But
Well,
that's
what
the
if-
only part of it. That's the only part I understand because what are we talking about? This is human life that we're talking about. And
Yeah.
it's not, I think people are only able to say that just bluntly like that because there's nothing's been affected on their end. If
Plus
it's
they're
affected
straight.
because really, man, it's just perception. Everybody's right and wrong, because if I'm walking down the street and you guys talking like that and I had a grandma or something pass, you might get punched in the face talking that, like
Distance, man. Gonna throw a rock.
so I don't know, man. It's crazy. I think my initial thought process of people out there doing that, they are crazy, but I get it.
So my thought is, when we do is this going to become our new normal? And then also, if it's supposed to, as they say, it's supposed to go away in summer and then return back in winter, are we going to go through this same thing in winter? And so if it comes back in winter, not only do we'll have COVID, but we'll also have flu season. So my thing is, like with the kids, like, I feel for these kids that's missing graduations and people who done got like doctorates and stuff can't walk across the stage, even though, their accomplishments aren't supposed to be, you know, belittled or whatever. But I mean, I feel for them. I mean, how things are right now, can we really see or really say that this looks or can actually be our new normal?
I
Like
think
we wearing masks all the time. We got to get counted to go into the grocery store now. Stuff like that.
I
We've been
think a version of that, yeah.
We've been watching Asians wear masks forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Also with their environment and that population of people. You think about their social distancing at that billions of people, So it could be our new normal. Plus,
I'm actually. Oh, go ahead.
Well, no, I'm just saying, if there's something in the air or out there, I found myself wearing my mask last week. You know what I'm saying? Because now we're forced to wear the mask to go in somewhere, or we could be refused service. So it's tightening up. Some people walking down the street with a mask, and you ain't even with nobody.
Yeah.
I don't wear it around the house, but when I go into the gas station, there's other people in there who ain't in my house.
Right.
All of us got the same up in here.
You got to be the same atmosphere, bro. Hey, that's how I be. That atmosphere is kind of different.
Man, me, my baby, and my wife and dog, we all got the same hot breath up in here.
Yeah, same ones.
Yeah,
I think also, what this COVID pandemic has exposed was like the systems that we have in the United States, from our banking to business to education to healthcare.
Oh yeah.
You name it, the systems have been stressed, and we found our breaking and weak points in those.
That's also a scary thing, because some of those systems you're talking about are still kind of pushing right now. And when you see them stressed, now you tighten them back up. All this curbside service. How are all these kids getting computers and doing work from home? We can get our diploma online now, from Phoenix.
That,
You know what I'm saying? Oh,
that was a question I had. Is there a time in you guys' life that you can see where a person could obtain a high school diploma online?
it's
Yeah,
happening now.
absolutely.
For sure.
I think we miss the connection of people.
The
I mean,
experience.
yeah, the experience, like being connected. So, like, I'm in school, right? And so I miss my classmates. Like, when we get together, we kind of have like we throw around ideas. We're talking about class. It gets my brain going. It gets me shifting. It gets me moving. And it's kind of hard to kind of do that through, like a Zoom session that we have just for class. So I kind of miss, maybe because I'm an extrovert. And so that's kind of hard for me, because sometimes I get my energy being around people.
It's
And
real
so,
energy
I
yeah.
did.
transfer.
I did online. I did online college, and I would have rather gone to school, to the physical school, and I think it's even harder. I think it's harder to get your degree from at home, because there's just distraction. I could either go watch TV, or I can go
Yeah.
get on this phone, or I can do this homework that could sit here and nobody ever mess with me about it. It's just I think it's harder, and I think it would be harder for kids to get their, if it did go to that. I think it would be harder to do, because again, that connection, all of that, it's all energy.
See, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know if I believe that it would be more difficult for children. For instance, my daughter, she's taking to the online sessions. I asked her about it today. She's like, it's fine. Obviously she misses her friends, but
Mhm.
I think that no tinfoil hat here, but I think that our children have been adapted to the technology of their time to the point where the transition seems a lot smoother, or is a lot smoother than what it seems from an adult perspective, if that
Most
makes sense.
I can agree with that.
I think though, when it comes to getting help on something that you don't know,
Oh, she
that's
emails the
that
teacher
I know, but like,
direct.
some of
No
these
standing in
teachers
line.
though, man, it depends on the teacher too, bro. Because
Mhm.
all I can say is this: them teachers where I was at, they'll give you a Khan Academy video and be like, "Go look at that," and you be like, "What?
Mhm.
Ain't no questions. You just keep watching
Right.
that video."
Right.
It's
keep
like,
watching Mr. Green.
this is crazy, bro. I almost, like on real talk, I got like a D in my math class because it was just like, go to Khan Academy and do the fractions
Go to
and learn from this, and then you
Mhm.
tell the dude I was gone. Uh, when's the assignment due? Sunday night at 11:59 p.m.
yeah.
No, man.
This
Yeah,
dehumanization.
it depends, man, on because man, it's harder for them. It's harder for the teachers. I'm talking to teachers, through Zoom sessions, and they're like, I got kids, so I got to do
Mhm.
their classes. I got to come and teach you guys your classes, and I got 3 kids. So
Mm.
And all of
it's
these
tough,
online,
man.
all of these online things are scheduled, especially if you've got an age gap with your kids. It's scheduled, you know,
Couple hours.
different times. Exactly, it's different times. It's they're right now they're having Zoom meetings. My kids are having Zoom meetings
Mm.
Yeah.
every day.
Different. That's different.
Different.
Yeah, with the entire
Hey,
class. There's no.
demolition man, bro.
That's
It's
what I'm
about
saying.
to be demolition
There's
man.
no more snow days.
There
Nope.
is no. How do
Niggas,
you
there better not be.
how you gonna call off? What, your phone don't work?
It's hard.
I,
Hey,
Yeah, you
that
better do that
that-
on screen
I'm actually,
if you're trying to
I'm,
get the day off.
Mhm.
I'm actually more scared about what's going to happen after all of this is supposed to be done. That's what scares me the most because new
it's gonna
rules, new
it's gonna be like
regulations.
That
What
was
is
a question
what?
I wanted to ask Tyra that specifically is exactly that. Tyra, how do you feel about I'm sorry, Miss Jones, how do you feel about um the aftermath? Exactly what he's saying, the aftermath. How are people gonna I mean, are we talking PTSD? Are we
Where's our
talking
mental health going to be at?
yes.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So right now, we're trying to handle the mental health of people today. I have a lot of patients um, who depend on their counseling sessions, and there's a lot of them. So the population I work with are like homeless, and they're like very low income. So when you tell them about a smartphone, or you tell them about let's do a Zoom, they don't know anything about that. So I think the plan would be for us to try to do our best to get them stabilized. And we have put some things in place as far as counseling and getting other people things that they need um, through my job and stuff. So the plan would be to try to keep them as normalized as possible right now, and get them stable. So when all of this is over, we can still kind of mentally, still counsel them and have them be in a mentally good place, even when all of this is over, because then we're going to have to step in and transition them. So we stood in and we transitioned them from this was your normalcy. You came in, you got counseling, we had all of this. Now you got to stay at home. Now, we have more frequent people having nervous breakdowns. We have more people in their mental health just not doing well. You still hear people, people with suicidal tendencies and stuff like that because they just can't, they just can't get, they can't just transition easily. So you think of somebody who's schizophrenic and they get lithium on a regular basis and they get counseling, and then all of this stops. So the first thing they're going to do is how am I going to get my medication? How am I going to keep counseling? How are we going to keep doing this? And so we have to put something in place. So we have to try to do our best to keep them kind of like stable. So when it's over, it's going to have to step in again. And like I said, we're going to have to transition them mentally to whatever this new norm is going to be because we don't know it. Right.
Mm.
So that's the challenge that we have had. But however, we do have a COVID hotline for SIU, and a lot of people don't know this. But if you call in and you mention that you need mental health services, or if you need like food, or if you need anything, then they will send you to the area where I work in, where are pandemic health workers. So you would either go to a place, um, a line where somebody can bring you food and drop it off at your porch, or they go to the food pantries, they get you like the gloves and all of that. Or if you need counseling, then you go into a line where you can talk to somebody right then.
Hmm.
And so, and that's open Monday through Sunday. So Monday through Friday is 8 to 5, and Saturday and Sunday is 9 to 5.
Have you
But a
had
lot-
any of your clients or your patients test positive for COVID-19?
Not yet. Well, I say not yet. No. So I hate to put that yet because I don't want to speak
Right.
that on.
Right.
So no,
Do
I haven't. Our biggest thing right now is um, getting like their biggest thing right now is their meds, because a lot of people have to get switched over to a pharmacy who now delivers. So at first we were taking them their medicine. So we like, don't leave the house, we'll bring you medicine. And then we were like, don't leave the house, we'll bring you food. So I was going to Salvation Army. I was getting food from the food pantries for my clients. I was dropping them off. And
fine.
then we came and just now we have just one big one big group that does that for people now.
Hmm.
So, and when you're doing that, then you're still gonna have to, it was still hard because there's still starting to kind of transition, because like some of my clients will come to the clinic just because that was their way of getting out, of seeing people, of
Yeah.
getting around, just being, that was their socializing, you know, to come to say hi to people in the clinic, how y'all doing, how your mama doing, all of that. And then they would, you know, and then they would leave, they get their food, because we have food at the clinic, and then they would leave. But a lot of them are now like isolating themselves. One of the other people, someone just went to the hospital. So but I was like, I can't get up there because they ain't gonna let me get up there to see you. So, you know, it's just hard on them too. And then it's hard on us because we hate to see stuff like that happen to them. And you really
Yeah.
can't go and you can't touch them. And I've built these relationships with these people, and I can't go and talk to them face to face or do home visits like I used to do. So that kind of sucks.
The stuff we don't hear about.
The stuff you don't hear about.
Yep, especially when, you know, people need support the most. We can't reach out and support people like we're accustomed to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's a caregiver. So that's her job, you know. I'm a school teacher, so interaction is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably seen all but one of my kids during this. I've taken some food by, not to pat myself on the back, but you know, you check up on them and see what's up. Because I'd be doing it if it was during the school year. And when you think about it, when you really think about it, I see them more than I see my own kids. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that 5.5, whatever, 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, I'm seeing them more than anything. You know, so when I don't get to see them, you know, the weekend is cool, but this is a long weekend. You know, this is a long break. I've been over it, but
Yeah. When I
very
call my patients, they talk to me. Like I talked to the one the other day, and I just stayed on the phone with them because I knew he had a concern, but then I knew he just needed some human contact.
Yeah.
Like he just needed to talk because he in the house by himself.
Yeah.
So he talked to me about whatever, and I stayed on the phone with him. I was like, I'm not doing nothing while I was working, but I stopped what I was doing so I can have a conversation with him because he hasn't had any contact with anybody else. And so this could be that. And then one time I was trying to call one of my patients, and I called a wrong number. And this woman talked to me, and she was like, she was scared to death. She didn't know what she was going to do. So I was like, okay, Lord, you had me call this woman. And here I'm talking to you, talking to her, calming her down. And I don't even know what her name was. It was a random number. I was a number off for my patients, but I thought that was divine because she just started to talk to me and I listened.
Kind of like the young man where the grandma sent the text message, come to Thanksgiving. He's like, I'm not your grandson. But he went to Thanksgiving the next 4 years in a row.
Did you see that her husband died of COVID-19?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did see that. I think we're getting to the point where we are, when you pay attention to it, the things that we're missing and the desires that we have are the things that we take for granted. You know, seeing other people, being able to talk face to face and have a conversation, you know, and like the human contact, the things that we need, like a baby needs to be held, needs to be touched, needs to hear your voice, you know. And like you said, your guy just wanted to talk because he's in the house alone. I'm in the house with my wife and kid, and I think we get on each other's nerves a little bit. I mean, but if I was alone, I would have nobody, you know.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But you know, none of the protesters that they've shown on TV, that's not what they're saying. They're all protesting the fact that they want to go back out and be able to spend money or make money.
Let me ask you a question. How brown is their skin?
You don't see that. You don't see us out there doing
Well,
that.
the thing is this too. I saw
seeing that.
Theo Hughley made a post on Instagram to the effect of, if those corners were full of brown or black people, police would be out there.
What?
So this,
Beat
so
up.
but Pete, this is what I got a question about. Then why is, I'm gonna just say it, why is Sean Gregory making a video talking about people need to stay home, and I don't see any other aldermen doing it? So in my opinion, that's like he's speaking to black people, telling us to stay home, giving the impression to everybody that sees it that we disobeying or we're not honoring the stay-at-home order.
I don't see a lot of people out on the east side in Ward 2.
And not only that, so who's the guy that he's not the Surgeon General that speaks for Trump, the black guy, the bald
Brother.
head.
The
Yeah, I
bald
think
head.
Exactly.
I thought he wasn't. He's not the
He is
Surgeon
the
General.
Please.
Okay, so excuse me, the Surgeon General. So when he gives his basically stay-at-home spiel, he's talking about Big Mama and Pop Pop instead of
See that?
talking regular.
Abuela. He came at us.
Rome, Michael Adams.
Hey man, hey.
But we not the
Why-
ones in the
Hey,
footage in the beaches and stuff. We ain't out there. We ain't out
No.
in Florida kicking it. Why,
He's-
and all of that.
Stop drinking. Stop smoking. Think of your me mom and your pop pop. Well, meanwhile, Tom Brady's down in Tampa in the park working out.
Todd.
Hey, and you know what? Hey, Tom, keep it up. Keep it up. We need you. If we ever play these games, you
Hey.
stay right there in that park.
Hey, just tell Ben told us we need to stay home. Just let
But
Ben
no, but
say-
like, but you're right. So you got examples of a Tom Brady in the park doing whatever he wants to do, and then I just seen where police officers arrested a mother in front of her children for playing in the park. Well, later that night, pretty much a mob of people surrounded his house.
Yeah.
cough.
What are
What do
you
you call
doing,
it?
man? What are you doing? What are you doing? You trying to cause? You trying to enforce martial law, sir? Stop. Come
Tell
on,
her to
man.
go on. Tell her to go home. You detained her. You had to take her kids. It's way too much. Tell her she needs to go home.
Right. So that he
There's a lot
won't-
of crimes that's not being prosecuted right now if it's not too serious.
Well, but on the flip side of that, could you imagine what happened if you assembled a crew of people and surrounded a police officer's house because they arrested you or arrested your wife or sister? What would happen to you?
I don't know that many people. I'd be calling y'all. We be on 4 sides.
Hey, and you gonna get about 1 to 2 that say they gonna do it, and then none of us be.
I mean, but just think of that. Just think of that. They were able to amass 10 to 12 people because this lady was arrested
She was
for
wrong.
being in the park. And, there's unarmed people that get murdered and that doesn't happen.
Right. Right.
The mindset's different.
But then again, you just see like a lot of these things, like I think Sean said, like a lot of these, or whomever, a lot of these systems, you're starting to see a lot of things like exposed. We already knew that, with the crime, that's where we were going to be a target. And I think like now, even with the health disparities that we have now, why is it that we see a lot of African Americans dying from this virus? Why is it that is? Because I'm sure there's a lot of white folks dying too, and I'm not going to be like non-sympathetic or anything. However, why is it that that is spotlighted, that is, it's continually to be exposed, and nobody is like doing anything? Like, African Americans don't get the same considerations when it comes to healthcare. So why are we like, okay, so all these people are dying from COVID and they're African Americans. Okay, that's the case, but where's the action behind that? Like, how are we going to fix that issue? Because it's just been talk. Like, we talk about it all the time, but where's the action behind it? Where does that begin? And that's a question. That's not rhetorical. I'm asking y'all.
Well, if we could just go back the last, 8 years, whatever, it kind of happens when you have, and it's not electing a politician to a position because somebody black in a position of power doesn't mean empowerment for us. But if you look at things like Obamacare. And then when that comes about, and then we have this new administration tearing that down and not even taking into consideration that, well, Obama put it up, so it must be for us. But it's a lot of white Americans who are affected by that. So that undercut right there, and then the fighting on the right and the left,
Mhm.
it should be conversations, but this is, I mean, you blocking my shot. We on the same team,
Mhm.
so that kind of happens. But also, whites are a minority on this planet. This planet is dark, and I mean, if you have something like this, you talk about planet population control. Like I said, most of this planet is dark. Whites are a minority, so there's a lot of questions, but a lot of it has to come with the power too. I mean, just to me personally, the
Mhm.
control. We take care of these people. Like Trump said, let's open up these states and send these folks to work. Well, you send Jared to work. You send what's the little dude's name? Bronson, whatever the heck. You know what I'm saying? But that's not happening. You saying you guys can go back to work, but y'all good. I know,
Right.
and we know that we are all expendable.
Mhm.
When it comes to governments and things like that. So I can't put my finger exactly on it, but it just, the question of why are the Black communities, when something happens, then it gets undercut, funding goes other places, it's a design. It's one of those isms.
Mhm.
It is. It is. I mean, you
It
look at
is big.
all of that time.
Exactly where you were going with the education, and like you said, Tyra, it's the allocation of resources initially anyway. So, like we said, these systems have been stressed. So when it comes to anything that was going to be in a urban type environment, it's definitely not going to get addressed the way that it would normally be addressed in another community. There's just going to not have enough for that then.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And then they're going to highlight that to portray, like you're saying, this image of, Black people not taking care of themselves.
It
because
happened with
because it
me.
comes down to this. It comes to pre-existing conditions, and it comes
Mhm.
down to your immune system. And then again, you have the Surgeon General talking like he was talking. And then to bring it to a more local resource, what I said about Alderman Gregory, and that's no
Mhm.
pun on him, but
No,
why haven't all the aldermen speak to their wards that way?
like Malcolm said, they'll send yours to kill you. You got a Black man telling us to stop smoking and drinking, so mom and pop, and we have, like you said, those pre-existing diabetes, the asthma, high blood pressure. That runs rampant in our neighborhoods, in our community.
Is it really fair to ask somebody? See, my thoughts are different. To like stop smoking and stop drinking. That may be the way that they cope. And sometimes, and that's just real. So sometimes you see a lot of substance abuse when it comes after um, is what they call adjustment disorder. So you have a stressor, which is a pandemic. You don't know what to do. You don't know what's happening. You don't know if you're going to get it. You hear all of this different stuff in the news and stuff. And so, like, now I got to adjust that I can't do A, B, and C. I can't go and be here or do this or go there. So, a lot of times, people turn to marijuana, people turn to, you know, to like alcohol and stuff, which is running rampant right now. I see a lot of substance abuse. And as though you want to tell somebody that, that is not good for you, or, who am I to say that that's how that you can't cope that way, you know? Um, I didn't see all of his video. I kind of seen that he did a video. I didn't really listen to it that much. I didn't listen to it at all. But those are kind of like my thoughts, and kind of like when I work with people now, like dude that was on the phone, he was just like, he got anxiety. He's like, I'm finna go smoke a joint. Well, man, well, get off the phone, go do what you got to do. You know, I mean, I can't. I'm not gonna be here because I can't tell you how to cope. I'm here to like advise you, or not even to advise you, because a lot of my counseling sessions they come up with their own answers. I just know the questions to ask them, to prompt them to come up with their own solutions. So then that take ownership, and now I can hold them accountable for stuff that they said. But yeah, I just think that this is just one of those times, you know, that I had, like he said that, I was just like, you know what, I just gotta let him make it. So,
I think it was the key words. Because if you listen to, you remember T.I.'s song, he goes, I've been smoking and I've been drinking. Well, you could put us in that category, smoking and drinking. You didn't say nothing about meth. You didn't say nothing about coke. You know, I'm real.
mhm,
You say smoking and drinking, that's, you know, and we talking about weed, not necessarily cigarettes, which is legal now. It's funny how
mhm,
you want to stop smoking it, but it's legal now, and you made 11 million in the first weekend to your advantage. You know what I'm saying? Remember when we was having them budget issues and didn't have no money? Now the weed's
mhm,
legal and that flush is coming in. So I mean, it's like I said, smoking and drinking. I think those words was just highlighted, and in my mind, it took me to the Ti song. You know,
mhm,
putting that together, smoking and drinking. He could, in a professional setting, I could take myself and say some of these things without saying smoking and drinking. You know, he's smart enough to do that. Those are
mhm,
keywords out there. And now what are we talking about? What he said and how it affects us in our community. So we do
mhm,
the seeds planted. You
mhm.
know, we ain't the only ones. I mean, you know,
No, we're not.
I mean, for real. I mean, I see
Mm,
people at work who I don't take my 15-minute breaks. That's designed for smokers. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
I don't need no 15-minute break. I don't even take my half an hour break, which is by law of mine. But that smoke break, oh, they go get that. They in the cold. So it ain't just us. We
mhm,
Philip Morris, we ain't do all that. You know what I'm saying? But we have to hold ourselves accountable and be more disciplined. You know, like when Cuz is talking about we got to come up out of this better. This is an incubation period. This is a cocoon. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
You gonna come out a butterfly or you gonna come out tore up. You know, some
mhm,
people are gonna be tore up. Some people are gonna be in the best shape of their life because there's certain things that they're not going through every day that they've been going through, and
mhm,
they're also not looking for strengths. You know, like this is a form of therapy right here. Or go get in your garden, or do some. Well, how do people deal in a cell? You know what I'm saying? When
mhm.
you're locked down 23 hours out of the day and you get to walk, they walk for that hour.
Was left off.
Okay.
What was you saying, Sean?
I don't remember. Go ahead and give that phone number out though. That's more important. Yeah, I ain't like
So,
that,
so,
yo.
so, you know, if you're having issues with COVID-19, you know, dealing with it mentally and things like that, how could people reach out and get some help?
Right. And I think there was a flyer out that said that you had to be COVID positive. That is not the truth. Anybody can call this number. It's 545-5100. So your best thing is when you call that number, when you talk to the first person, you need to let them know that you need food, because then those will be those hot.
That they're actually calling.
They're actually calling SIU School of Medicine.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's SIU School of Medicine calling. Um, and then there's people that are there to dispatch. I'm gathering information to see how I can. So my appeal would be, figure some out by yourself. If you really feel like you're isolated, or you feel like this is much and this is stressful, there are people there that are willing to talk to you for free. Um,
Huge information right there.
mhm.
Are you guys seeing and are having people actually reach out and utilize the services?
We are. We had to. There was some misinformation from the governor, and so we just had to correct that, because a lot of people didn't know that, one, we were there on weekends, and a lot of people didn't know that you did not have to be COVID positive to utilize the resource. So we're redoing some things, and we just want to get it out there to, like, if you need, again, if you're hungry, you need food, the SNAP is gone, or you just want some extra for these kids, because these kids home all day and they eat.
Yeah.
We got that. We can get that to you. If we get some more, we're looking to get more supplies like gloves and masks and stuff, and we can get those put together. We'll have some things that we can get those out to you. We have blood pressure cuffs if you have, hypertension, if you need a glucose monitor, if you need a thermometer, we have all those supplies to give to y'all. And speaking about, when we were talking about the underlying medical conditions, I do teach 2 classes. I teach, that's one of my main jobs there. Diabetes. I teach people about controlling their diabetes and in asthma, because a lot of our children have asthma. A lot of that, and that stems from going into some things and talking to people at housing, because some of these Section 8 houses, some of these houses they got around here have mold and ain't nobody doing it. And so then all of a sudden your child has asthma, and now your child got to deal with the asthma, and you don't deal with the child's asthma until they have an asthma attack. And then by the time that you reach out to me to educate you, it could be too late. So I do those things too. And I do go out in the community. Once all of this is done, I'll be back out in the community, because it is imperative. I can't even speak now. It's important that, shut up, Sean.
Hey, real talk. I'm just sitting here listening to you, and I had no idea this was your line of work. And I'm sitting here like, I know this girl like 40 years.
You've known me all my life.
I'm like, yeah. I mean, 44, and it's like, I've known her 40 plus years of my life.
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting here like proud of you though. That's what's up though,
So pizza is not good for people who have diabetes.
I'm gonna let you answer that, Todd. I'll let you answer that. Unless you get some gluten-free, veggie pizza with some.
It's not pizza. That's not
with
pizza.
some non-dairy cheese or something like that on there, like some vegan cheese.
I can't say this. My A1C, I was borderline diabetic, and my
1 or 2.
2.
Okay.
Much weight on drugs.
You need protein.
Only time to get it dealt with. No, I just was more aware about what I'm eating, but
now I'm very straightforward.
Just don't tell me that I got to give up my ice cream. $103
portions.
What type of dressing?
You can make like olive oil and sprinkle a little little seasoning, a little Tony Saturin or something in the olive oil, and put it on your salad.
Oil based on there.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to get straight to the point, because
get the leaves wet.
Should it be? Is it better for me to use Italian than ranch? Because I put chicken in my salad, and it just tastes better with ranch.
And you grill your salad. You grill your chicken, yes.
Not all the time, but okay. I never fry it.
So it's baked.
Okay.
It's right.
It's baked. Okay.
So it's
that's okay. And if you want to do Italian or you want to do ranch, if that's something like, there's some people that got some non-negotiables, and that's okay. There's light Italian, there's light ranch.
So I should be using light stuff?
You should be using less.
Because I'm using all the same. I'm using the same ingredients. I'm just eating more broccoli.
Okay.
I'm eating more greens and trying to work out.
You can do. Do you?
They got ice cream.
Aldi and get your vegan ice cream and eat that.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try to.
I think you should try it. It wasn't bad.
It just don't, because vegan ice cream is $10 off top. So $3 vegan ice cream sounds like the bottom of the earth ice cream. You're talking to somebody who used to eat their ice cream premium. Creamy. It's real ice cream.
So are you saying that is the healthy ice cream more expensive than the premium ice cream?
Healthy ice cream is more than any ice cream.
Anything
What?
cost to eat.
Healthy anything is boy, get you a healthy burger.
Whole Foods is expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the dollar menu at McDonald's, and then you buy fruit. They're gonna charge you $1 for this nonsense and charge you almost $3 for the fruit and the cup.
Real. Hey,
Yeah.
them solids from Chick-fil-A, $9, $9.50.
You ain't lying.
So
The greens for about $9.50.
I get it, but man,
So
I'll just go and make my own.
So one thing they're starting to do
Get a
is,
Carter.
with the farmers market, I think they're going to try to do it for summer. I don't know how that's going to work.
They are. I believe they
Yeah.
said they are doing like open air, allowing golf. Some things slowly that are more spacey like that.
Golf course is going to be so packed if they do that. I'm going to go golf.
Court in the summertime.
I am. Charles, you going to go golf?
I got next, man.
It depends.
Depends on who's out there.
It depends on
But that's what I'm saying. If
it's
it
looking like.
but it's going to be deep.
Mhm.
It's
I'll
going to be
come.
deep.
I just want to drive the cart though, and I'll bring my boom box and or whatever. Get my YouTube, play some music on my phone while we on the cart and stuff like that.
They're gonna put it off.
I will not golf in the mask. I won't golf in the. If I have to use a mask, if I have to use a mask, I'm not. It's go like they could really say that. Hey, if you don't have this vaccine, you can't go to work. Or they'll do it. They'll do a soft stop one where it'd be like, you can't go to work without gloves and a mask on. And if you show up to work consistently with that mask and gloves on, they're gonna be like, you can't come to work.
When they start
unless you got that vaccine.
When your health insurance is compromised, if you got that vaccine or not.
And all of the above.
Because then you're thinking about your shorty who's also on that insurance.
Right.
That compromise whether you take this vaccine or not. That's how you do it.
Well, what about the kids? Is that going to be is that going to be standardized? You still got to get this other vaccines and all of this that they want you. Is this something that you're going to have to get for your child to get into school?
I've been doing
all of that.
I've been dealing with that just on his regular shots, where it's like, I'm not getting all these shots. Spread this out. We're not shooting it 6 times and go home. He gonna get a shot. We're gonna go home and we'll be back. He'll be all right, and he's been all right.
I haven't had I'm asthmatic, so they always tell me that I have to get a flu shot, and I haven't got a flu shot since my mom had made me go get it when I was living at home.
I think the last flu shot I had when the lines, I know I got it at the fairgrounds, and I was in a long ass line, and I was probably in elementary school.
Yeah, I don't mess around.
Something, but I
definitely had one as an adult. No.
And all it took was an episode of 2020 to see girl. She couldn't even function unless she was running or walking backwards. No, no.
They really did show that, didn't they?
And it was terrible because they gonna say slow down, and she man. That's terrible. She was a cheerleader in college, so she was in better shape than I am.
Yeah.
No way.
No way.
So that's gonna be a problem. I'm more scared about that than I am.
That is, and so how do you protect and support your family and make the right decision all at the same time?
Hey, you're not a hero until you die. So right now, I can tell you, family ain't gonna like the decision. They're gonna be like, "Well, you got to do this." It's gonna be tough.
So
it's gonna be tough.
So now you working from home permanently?
I don't know, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do?
What do you
do? It depends on what service you provide your job, because a lot of people can work from home. depends on what service you providing. You know, are you on the computer? That could be done from the crib. I mean, you know, you ain't changing tires, but
Shoot,
mean, but-
I think that's about the only thing I could do though is change some tires
go
on Jackson. That's hey, I mean,
Yeah,
This
that's
man
about
said
the only way.
Jackson.
you can slang some DVDs.
I gotta become a drug dealer.
Oh God.
I gotta sell what? I
So-
gotta be. It's gotta be my life. What else do I? What do you do when they tell you you can't go to work? You can't do nothing.
You're in the underworld now.
It's demolition, man. You can't get any hamburgers up here anymore. You gotta go.
You can't start your own business?
Well, I can do all things,
Now you got
but you already know. Ain't gonna be no food. I can tell you that it ain't gonna be my cuisine.
No,
Okay,
it ain't gonna be any food.
so
It's gonna be digital marketing. That's about it.
So to spin off of that, we've got 5 people in here, right? That's enough for a possible majority, or would have to have a majority. One at a time, I want to know how many of you would, we'll just call it the chip. How many of you would get the chip if offered? Start with Charles.
So what do you mean by the chip?
We're just
The
calling it the
answer's
chip.
no, the answer's no, but
No.
but I can see how
the chip.
but I can
That's
see a
all I'm calling it.
scenario where they
Yeah.
can paint you into a corner where you have to make a decision that's easier than me just saying no like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So absolutely not. But what if they said, you know, you definitely can't get insurance
Exactly.
unless you have it, and everybody's on my insurance right now. They all have pre-existing conditions anyway that would probably prevent them from being picked up by other insurances without paying a ridiculous premium where I wouldn't be working anymore.
So said chip becomes your your identity.
No,
So no.
It's
I'm
gonna
not
be
doing it. I'm doing what Todd said. I apologize, but I guess I'm trying to be ghost at this point.
Mhm. I have a question, but isn't that kind of the same thing about the real ID? Isn't that supposed to, I mean, it's not like a chip because the chip is implanted, of course, but like with these real IDs that they're making us get, well, I guess they're on standby because nobody's in the DMV now, but that they were trying to push, it has that same, like that same information in it. Like it had more information about like your social security number. We knew all of that was in there and like your blood type, but it had like, but now it's supposed to have like all this stuff that where they can track you and stuff like that. So that's why, like my passport has a chip in it. I'm like, why does
RFID.
my passport have a chip in it?
Yeah.
I mean, apparently
yes,
if I'm gone, I'm just gonna
That's
assume.
that's exactly why I just called it the chip, because it could really be represented by anything. I'm calling it a chip for, you know, the sake of argument, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. I don't. It was kind of a trick question, because I don't know if we're gonna get a choice in the matter.
we're
Based off
not.
what she's saying.
But it's not going to be like, so you speaking of the RFID chips, those don't have a strong enough signal to conduct the information that's needed and
Right.
required by what the conversation we're having. So what that's going to do is we're going to go down this road. So so take all of your electronics,
Mhm.
anything that's reading your health, your Apple Watch, your phone, and all of the smart devices are equipped to do this now, and they will be going forward. It's going to be, that's why Bill Gates is being brought into this equation, because Google and Apple, which cover all of the phones and all of the electronics, because you're either going to go to Google Play Store or the Apple Store to load the electronic that you have. It's going to be a point where, yes, say I took the vaccination, I logged into this app saying that I did so. It tells me who's around me that hasn't or that has done the same thing as I have. So case in point, it's going to, you don't even have to do anything because since the app's not picking you up, I know you're not vaccinated.
Wow.
So it's backwards forcing your hand to be compliant because everybody that's going to be compliant is going to know you're not compliant.
You're a leper out here now.
That's
For
real.
real. Stay away from me and my children.
And now it's as simple as you technically didn't take the beast, you took a vaccine, but the phone is the beast.
I've always felt that way. You don't need to put a chip in nobody. These phones go with us everywhere.
Well,
Man,
that's
the
the
chip.
beauty for them of having a guy like Bill Gates on the team. Think about it. He sold a major product to the entire business world before already with Windows, with
world.
Microsoft. So now he has the technology and he knows the mechanics of getting a product to the mass. Rewind this whole thing 4 or 5 years ago, he opens up schools and hospitals in Africa, which would be what would be the fastest, quickest way that a virus could spread in a civilization? What would be the most populated place? A school. Other businesses don't have to be set up like Wall Street and these grandiose corporations. You could have a regular town, right? But the school is going to have the most people in it with the kids and the staff.
Classroom, kids.
So there he can test that out on them, and then he can try to heal them in the hospitals that he created.
Monitor it.
So he's got the whole operation that they've done in a place where we're not going to get any of that information from.
You gonna get pictures of them asking to help them for food.
Or they're gonna be smiling next to him and Linda or Belinda, whatever her name is, cheesing like they doing great jobs over there.
Now, them people have been implicated in the most wicked treachery.
True that
you could even imagine. So not only was, his name been found on the Jeffrey Epstein plane logs. I mean, you named them, and they've met with my man several times.
And it's even more scary for me because I've been watching Hunters on Amazon, and it's all about this. It is. I mean, they slanging it through corn syrup.
So it's corn syrup's in a lot of stuff.
Hey, anything is possible at this point. Like, there's nothing off of the table. So, any idea that anybody is said or
anybody can get it.
It's all possible. Because I know this. At the end of the day, money is. No, the love of money, and people love money, is the root of all evil. And what, like, people in the high positions they take advantage of any crisis. Like, that's what they do. Like, they figure out what the crisis is. They see it, and now we can make these if we want.
Capitalize.
If you think about war, you create war, you can raise taxes. So it's beneficial, and it makes sense to make war. How many wars have we been in as a country? You know what I'm saying? So how much of it has been our business? But we still go to war, and we raise taxes, and we raise funds. What's our military looking like? And what's our education looking like?
if you want to change something, you got to disrupt it first.
Oh man, destroy the build.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta destroy the build.
So like I was saying, those things that we spoke about earlier that were being stressed, those are things that all need addressed.
Mm-hmm.
The banking, the money's been funny for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The education system needs
It's very
reevaluated.
yeah.
We have a overpopulation of people that are educated that can't get jobs. That's a problem.
And they're in debt. College degree and
Yeah.
debt, no job.
And then
Don't even say nothing to me.
then a pandemic like this causes a scenario where it turns people into crabs, where you have people that are going out working, and then people that were laid off or unemployed now that are making more money than the people that are working, that might even be making more money than they was when they were working, and people know that, and it causes hostility amongst everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
When
change.
really it's nobody's business.
That's true.
People forget about that. Not
Hey,
true.
it's funny how
Everybody's counting everybody's pockets right now because there's nothing to do.
what
Right.
did you? Hey, cuz hold on though. Folks are spending $200 on shoes still though.
Hey, and that's what's crazy to me. Like
It's
Mm-hmm.
they're buying shoes like there was not in the middle of a pandemic.
you can wear them in the house. Take them.
Where are we going? And that's another thing too. It's like,
Where are you going? And man, it's tough. It's tough. I do wish I could get a haircut though, so bad. This hat is gonna be on for about.
It's gonna grow into your
Hey.
head.
Oh man,
True story. I haven't
You
seen
go see Ty
TG
with dreads.
without that hat
man, that hat is gonna be
since
on
quarantine started.
because I didn't. I said about a week ago. Soon I'm gonna turn into the Lion King, and today it's come to pass. I am the Lion King, but you'll never see it on camera.
I'll tell you what, from the time since Sean showed up to the podcast to full mane.
Hey, when the neck hair get long on the neck. You know what, though? I'm gonna tell you what. I wake up in the morning, I garden, I cut my grass. I stay outside. I take walks with the little dude on his big wheel, and I just try to take advantage of just being, and try not to worry about, and I don't. Summertime, I get paid because I've already earned the money. They take it and put it up, and then they pay you out throughout the summer. So I'm cool on that tip. Both cars got full tanks of gas.
Oh, talk about that.
Right.
What is gas right now?
Wasn't it negative?
32.
It was negative money a couple days ago.
What was it?
It was. It was.
You
It was
know-
a negative.
I've only in this. How long? Because we've been
You know
off.
what
We've
that
been off.
means.
My wife is putting gas in my car like for no reason. I'm like, why? It's full. It's not anywhere. And she's
I
like,
haven't.
let me fill you up. I'm like, all right, sure.
I haven't
$2
filled
later,
my
I'm
tank
full.
up since. I've only filled my tank up one time since we've been off of work. One
Yes.
time.
It's to the point where it costs them more to run business than for you to buy it. They have to give it away before you could buy it to make it even mean anything.
Man, and I went to the gas station. I go over to the Hy-Vee because I like to get my little change off. But yeah, and I see people over there. They stockpiling. Dude was over there. He put his gas in his gas can, then he put it in his tank, and then he pulled out another gas can and put it up.
That's that same dude who got all the doggone toilet paper.
Yup.
What
got
is
that-
it?
Got a
What
garage of
is
gas.
it?
Got garage of gas. It
I-
didn't
I-
take one
oh.
flame. Someone
Done. Go ahead.
out of
Done.
there.
He can't
it's
even
cheap.
wa-
Because
he
it's
can't-
cheap. I'm gonna buy some fuel.
He can't even watch the last airbender in his house because it's gonna spark something. You can't watch it. If you turn them TVs off because we
The heat from the TV.
oh man, no, endangering your family, sir.
Yeah.
All
sir.
that gas.
Gasolina.
Mhm.
People
And I just watched him do it, and he just smiled. I was like, hey, I mean, I guess if that's what you
and
do.
he ain't going to cut no grass.
Okay.
not a lawnmower.
You probably,
At
because I
all.
was just about to say that too. That maybe he cuts grass, but no, he don't cut grass.
Guns and grass.
Storing it.
He ain't cut nobody's
Or
grass.
gasoline.
You got that generator at home.
That's probably hey, yeah, but it might be.
It's like y'all laughing. I
Yeah.
got power over it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true. Matter of fact, hey, what's so crazy that this has made my spending a lot different. Like
Mhm.
I'm buying house appliance stuff. I'm trying to do that, and like I plan on trying to take karate lessons
Karate?
after this.
Oh, okay.
Like when this is done, I now need to learn how to flip somebody just in case you run in the crib. You know, like I'm thinking of different ways that I never thought of to spend my money.
Ms. Jones, don't take him seriously. Look how
I'm serious about that.
Hey, this is what I'm thinking about.
Okay.
What?
But
Well,
I'm
I
glad
gotta
I'm
say,
glad you said that, Todd. I truly am, because
Yeah.
this is a time
Oh yeah.
where it's important to be reflecting on things, on yourself, trying to improve on things that you know you should have touched sooner, or maybe you hadn't even thought of it until you had this time to slow you down. Maybe you was living a high-paced life that you couldn't slow down, and you was just going. You was going to your appointments, you was going to work, and you was executing. This is a perfect time to slow it down and reflect on the things that is most important and valuable to you, because like everything we said in the past hour, there's going to come a point in time where you're going to have to make an important decision here in the near future, and it's going to be life or death situation. You can't believe anything that you see on the TV. You got to be able to see something on TV, see something in your environment or atmosphere, and you better be able to process that into your own reality and make sense for what's going on with you and yours.
I do have to say this time has given me some time to like not only reflect on myself, but I've been expanding my portfolio, my financial portfolio, which I've been meaning to like sit and like go through and stuff. So I've started doing a lot of I'm in the stock market now. I've been buying me some shares and stuff. I'm learning about all of that. And I keep saying, I was like, I want to learn how to do that, you know? And then like, I've been saving money because I buy grocery and I don't want to go out, or I don't eat out a lot. We doing this social stuff, I can't go out to eat with any of my friends. So I'm sitting here, I was like, man, I didn't know I spent this much money on going out to eat. Because, you look and I was like, where all this extra money coming from? And I was like, oh.
Wine girl. The Hawk.
Huh?
I see you at the Hawk.
Oh, yeah. I'm there frequently. I'm a member.
We do
I
have
gotta
those
go.
habits and don't pay attention because we're able to.
Yeah.
That's a community issue with us too. Like Cuz said, you buying shoes for $200 and you can't even walk outside in them for real.
No.
You know? I mean, like you're exactly right, T.
You buying $200 shoes and praying that $1,200 stimulus come in.
Oh.
See?
And then you buy them $200 shoes and the stimulus don't come in.
And it don't come.
Mhm.
If I spend $200 on shoes, we're gonna call them tires, and they're going on the truck.
Man, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I just bought 4
Shoot
tires.
tires. Oh,
Four
Tires.
tires hurt. Four
Boy,
tires hurt.
It definitely does.
600.
It was a
But
pleasure
that's-
having you on the podcast. Is there anything that you want to leave the listeners with?
Well, I was glad to be. I'm glad I could be on here too. I like y'all. Y'all cool. Um,
Appreciate you.
and y'all know stuff like for real, for real. And I appreciate that. Well, actually, no. Well, with y'all just keep doing what y'all doing. You know, we listen. I learn. So I say y'all do an excellent job. And again, I think I've already made my appeal is that if you need help, please talk to somebody.
hit
Just
that number again.
One more time for him.
okay. It's 545-5100. And you can call there from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and 9 to 5 on Saturday and Sunday.
Area code 217.
217. And it
There it
doesn't,
is.
the only area we don't really do is Cook County because we do all the state of Illinois. We really don't do Cook County, but we can hook you up with somebody who does. But we have hubs here in Springfield, Carbondale, Quincy, Decatur, and East St. Louis.
I'm glad you're on East St. Louis.
Me
That,
too.
that